education. In more stories, Uganda's cyclists call for better funding. A very good evening once again, and my name is Sharon Chumjishe. In UBC News Tonight at 10 p.m, Church of Uganda has applauded work done by the late Justice Kenneth Kaku, especially enactment of the Constitution of the Church of Uganda. This was contained in a message delivered by the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, Dr. Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, during the late Justice Kakuru's funeral service at All Saints Cathedral, Nakasero.
Christians gathered in big numbers at All Saints Cathedral, Nakasero, to abide farewell to the late Justice Kenneth Kakuru. Archbishop Dr. Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu applauded the late for his contribution towards the church, noting that he was among the team that made amendments to the Church of Uganda Constitution.
A resolution in our Constitution, it is Article 13(6). It says, a bishop shall retire after serving for a period of 15 years upon attaining the age 65 years, or whichever comes first. So this man, I remember him, things to do with retirement, he was always there. And I think MPs, they remember. But he has a good message. Death is not the end. There is life after that. Especially for those who accepted Jesus Christ, the King of Kings and the life.
He also commended the late for being a God-fearing person.
And now we have a challenge of homosexuals. And now I think I want to be in Parliament and see my Anglicans, the members of Parliament, whether they will say yes or no. Because some people may want to eat the money and hide and kill our nation. We shouldn't accept that.
Chief Justice Alfonso Wunyidoro reiterated the loyalty Justice Kakuru exhibited during his life.
He was a very loyal friend. Not many people are loyal friends. Only a loyal friend can remain your friend even when you are dead. In many friendships, death do us part. I had no problem with Kenneth. As a matter of fact, I appointed him in charge of organizing the registry, cause listing.
The children of the late Justice Kenneth Kakuru and the widow Charity Kakuru eulogized their felony hero.
He supported me, supported my father, my mother's family in any way needed, despite of our age difference. I learned a lot of skills. When I was growing up, my bedroom was opposite his, and he woke up really early, and then he would start singing, "Great is thy faithfulness," and you're in bed, and you're like, why? Every night, even when we were adults, he would come in the middle of the night and touch our faces, so you just feel a hand touching your face. He left a very big impact in everyone's life. He was an overachiever, he was not forgettable, and he excelled in all these things. So you can only imagine what he was like in one of the most important roles that he had. Yeah, but we got to be there for him. He called us his army, and that means everything. That means everything, to know that he knew that we were there for him no matter what.
Friends of the deceased were also at hand to give in their eulogies.
Let me thank the people who loved and appreciated Kenneth. He did not want anything. He didn't want that, and we didn't want it for him.
He was unique. He served as a judge without fear, favor, or ill will. It didn't matter to him who you were, where you came from. I'm sure if there was anybody spiritual who came to him, he would tell him exactly what he told everybody. You can retire from active service, but you go into reserve and volunteer reserve and eternal reserve. So we shall retire. Ensure people speak about the good things you did when you are passing.
Justice Kenneth Kaku will be buried Saturday, 11th March 2023 at Rabishure in Mbarara. Deborah Namamunde, UBC News.
May the Lord strengthen the family and friends of the late Justice Kaku. Moving on from that, the workers for water and environment have successfully handed in their petition to Parliament, detailing a number of findings and respective recommendations. Key among the issues highlighted is the need for increased budgetary allocation for the Ministry of Water and Environment to facilitate effective environmental management. Minister of State for Energy, Honorable Sidronius Okasai Opolot, received the petition on behalf of the Speaker of Parliament with a pledge to further their advocacy. Kimono Dokas reports.
Day 11 of the 320-kilometer walk for water and environment from Bukhuka in Changwali sub-county, Chukube district to Kampala started with a tour around the National Water and Sewage Corporation sewage treatment plant in Luigi. Workers were taken through the process of sewage treatment.
We have lots of solid waste prevalent in sanitary pad limits.
From here, the team embarked on their way to Parliament amidst heavy downpour. As anticipated, the team was able to make it to Parliament, where members of the Parliamentary Committee on Water, Sanitation and Hygiene were waiting to receive it.
Let them come, they're coming. They're coming. Yeah.
A petition highlighting environmental concerns registered during the walk and recommendations for Parliament's attention was presented.
Government should substantially increase on the budget allocation to the water and environment sector, including the line authority and district local governments. Increase on the number of environmental protection police force members to curb the rampant encroachment.
Franked by the chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on WASH, the Minister of State for Energy, Okasai Opolot, received the petition on behalf of the Speaker.
It is not just only about Uganda, it's about humanity. Our environment, the water are extremely important, and we're at crossroads where the weather, the climate is changing, we are destroying the environment, and we need to rehabilitate the environment.
Committee members lauded the workers for their resilience to protect the environment. The team, together with the Parliamentary Committee on WASH, signed a commemorative painting symbolizing their partnership to promote environmental conservation. From here, the workers will be flagged off for their final leg to the Ministry of Water and Environment in Luzida.
We're proud of you. Thank you so much.
The Minister for Water and Environment, Sam Cheptoris, congratulated the workers upon accomplishing the 320-kilometer walk and asked them to continue championing advocacy for environmental conservation.
That as you settle down, you will prepare a report for us to act on. The issue of Bukoma is a serious issue. The issue of Bukoma is a serious issue which must be handled. We have done our best, but we shall not tire.
The theme for this year's Walk for Water and Environment was Water and Environment for Climate Resilient Development.
In more stories, the Parliamentary Committee on Health has tasked the Ministry of Health to explain how Sino medicines were awarded a contract that led to a court case following the supply of substandard equipment. This follows a supplementary request that included the 11 billion court award that was paid to Sino by Ministry of Health for breach of contract. The amount accumulated from 4 billion, I beg your pardon, in 2013. Susan Nawanga reports.
The Ministry of Health is seeking a supplementary budget of 280 billion, which includes 11 billion shillings court award to Sino African Medicines. Sino African Medicine was contracted to supply items including beds by the Ministry of Health.
The claimant supplied the goods between November 18th, 2013 and 7th March 2014, customized for the Ministry of Health to various hospitals and health centers across the country.
However, according to Ministry of Health, the company supplied substandard items that compelled them to reject the consignment and also cancel the contract with the company.
Some items were not fit for purpose and that the supplier should replace them.
Sino would then seek legal redress where court awarded compensation of 4 billion subject to interest once the ministry defaulted on timely clearance.
Had written to the supplier to retrieve the equipment which had been rejected. But by the time the supplier went to retrieve the equipment, the hospitals had already used them, and some of them had been left out in the open. They had been abandoned and left to waste at the facilities. So by the time he went to retrieve the equipment was found in a state of disrepair. And because of that contributed to the success of his claim.
Appearing before the committee to defend a supplemental of 208 billion were officials from Ministry of Health, led by Minister Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng. Officials were tasked to explain whether the contract in question was awarded through competitive bidding. The committee was chaired by Koboko Municipality Member of Parliament, Dr. Charles Sayume.
What are the court awards and how much does government or either contractors or suppliers?
The ministry noted that it was under the instruction of National Advisory Committee on Medical Equipment to cancel the contract with the contractor, which was later challenged in courts of law. The MPs questioned why the ministry failed to communicate earlier, leading government into losses.
Because South Africa did their work, they messed us up, we slept again in awarding them the contract. They played on us, gave us a bad deal.
The ministry was tasked to present further documents of the contract and how it was awarded to Sino African Medicines. Officials from the ministry pleaded with the committee to assist them in scaling up funds which had been allocated for the rehabilitation of Mulago National Referral Hospital.
In the midst of scarcity, in the midst of other priorities, this government may incur some costs over the next 2-3 years, but also not putting money in Mulago, people are going to die.
The committee unanimously agreed to stay the budget for supervision of Lubowa Hospital and advised the ministry to first embark on priority areas. Susan Naung and Gloria Guitabinji reporting for UBC TV.
Moving on from that, parents are being told to refocus child protection attention on both girls and boys to guarantee safety of Uganda's future generation. This appeal by the national leaders comes in the wake of growing cases of homosexuality, which put the life of a boy child at risk. Presidential advisor on media, Mary Karo Okuru, decries recruitment of unsuspecting girl and boy children into same-sex relationships, which threatens their lives. Okuru reports.
2 days ago, Uganda joined the rest of the world to commemorate International Women's Day. But behind this dance was a message of moral uprightness, as heard in this statement.
I think that is enough.
We call upon the Parliament to speed up the process of enacting a law criminalizing this vice, which we are sure our dear President will assent to.
To share this point of view are other leaders who appeal to Ugandans to stand firm against sexual immorality.
It is the thing that is coming to destroy the culture of Uganda and Africa at large. There is hidden agenda, and we must all rally behind in fighting homosexuality.
Even the President of America has spoken, Joe Biden. He said you can do everything that you want, but you'll never be happy. You can use all the monies that you have to kill culture, but you'll never be happy.
All stakeholders, let us embrace equal opportunities in education.
These concerns come at a time the attention is shifting from just protecting the girl child to protecting both genders. This is because the future of the boy child is equally threatened.
We should not leave the boy child alone. So I'm appealing to all the parents and all the people of Uganda that let's support the boy child as we support also the girl child.
We are not going to follow the people who are lost. We have our cultural values. We have our roots, and we are going to stick on this.
We can still fight on, and it is not too late. We can reverse it, and our girl child and our boy child should be protected and brought up upright in the African tradition.
In the name of protecting human rights, the practice is being promoted through recruitment of unsuspecting young people.
And we are condemning all those groups which come to our country and start recruiting and paying money to young people so that they can join the gay movement. Why do you recruit?
Yes, we may be having a few individuals who might have gotten lost, but me, I'm sure that when we pray and we focus on our norms and principles here as Africa, but also as Uganda, more so.
In overcoming this, parents have a role to play.
We shall continue to nurture our children in the proper ways that has been done before, and they will continue living that.
This is the time to raise our voices wherever we are. We shouldn't leave it with politicians. We shouldn't leave it with the church. We shouldn't leave it with the police or the army.
These concerns are timely, as Parliament is in the process of enacting a law against the practice. How far this will go in protecting Uganda's morality, time will tell. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Moving on in UBC News Tonight, Mukono High Court, before Judge Collins Aselan, has confirmed Ida Erios Nantaba as duly elected Woman Member of Parliament for Kayunga District as per the general election of 2021. This follows court's dismissal of Rita Nabada's petition against Nantaba, where she wanted court to nullify her victory for Kayunga District Woman Member of Parliament. In his judgment, Judge Collins Aselan was of the view that the petitioner failed to collect the required signatures from the voters to file a petition in court as per the laws governing election petitions. Rita Nabada filed this petition against Nantaba alleging bribery and vote rigging, among other grounds. Ambrose Tebiasa is Ida Nantaba's lawyer.
Okumuli Sengo yagenda n'agulira abalonzi b'e Kayunga musobola okufuna obululu so nga omubaka akalulu mutuufu yali akawangudde mu butuufu bwako nga muyinza okujjukirako nti omulundi ogwasooka emabegako abantu bano baali balese petition mu kooti twaleeta okwakanya kwaffe nga tugamba nti empaaba yaabwe yali nkyamu yali ekontana n'amateeka era nga yali enokugobwa mbagirawo kooti eyasooka yagoba okwaba kwabwe mbagirawo ne bajulira ne bagenda mu kooti ejulirwamu netulagira tukomewo wansi kooti eddemu yeekenneenye bulungi erabe obanga ddala okwaba kwabwe kwali kutuufu oba tekwali kutuufu era yensonga lwaki omusanvu twaguddamu ne tubuuza mulina okuba nga mugoberedde ensonsula ya kooti ey'omusango guno nti twali tulina emiramwa gya mirundi ng'ebiri kooti kwe yali alina okusinziira okusala omusango guno ng'esooka ku yo kwe kuba nti omuntu eyaleeta omusango guno mu kooti yayita mu kadirisa yali ansobole kubadde gwali gwa munguuba tembadde.
Well, congratulations to Nantala for winning the case. In more stories, government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, has signed a framework agreement with China for the proposed National Data Transmission Backbone Infrastructure Project, Phase 5, worth $151 million to be carried out in 5 years. The Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kasaija, said that the bilateral relations between China and Uganda have yielded a number of achievements which are of national importance. Mary Namko.
The 5-year proposed National Data Transmission Backbone on Infrastructure Project Phase 5 is targeting to, among others, enhance online communication in government and private sector and reduce the escalating data costs in the country.
All district local governments and administrative units, including schools, hospitals, and health centers, shall be connected to the national highway, the fiber backbone that will boost digitization of and ease delivery of services. Phase 5 of NBI EGI project, therefore, is timely in addressing connectivity gaps in the realization of a digital Uganda by 2040.
The Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kasaija, says bilateral relations between Uganda and China have had positive impacts to Uganda's economy and therefore called for more collaborations.
The construction of the Kampala-Entebbe Express Highway, the upgrade and expansion of Entebbe Airport project, construction of the Karuma and the Simba hydropower projects, Forum for China-Africa Cooperation Project pool under the 9 programs, construction of the new offices for the Prime Minister and the President.
China's ambassador to Uganda, Zhang Lizhong, highlighted the significance of this phase, which will cover 70 areas and more than 3,000 government and public institutions, among others.
It will cover about 70 new areas. More than 3,000 government and public institutions will benefit by greatly increasing the efficiency of public administration. As e-government services being further improved, more than 2,000 local jobs will directly or indirectly created with more prominent social and economic benefits.
Liz Hong says the project has further improved on service delivery in the country, as well as widening the tax base.
Through the National Backbone Infrastructure Project, the Ugandan government's capacity of managing public service has been greatly improved, and tax revenue in major cities increased by more than 71%. About 200 government applications going online. That the online application system has been shortened from 1 hour to 2 minutes, and the e-visa processing time has been shortened from 22 days to 4 days.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Mary Namukose. Uganda has received a delegation from Namibia ahead of this year's Africa Peer Review Mechanism Stakeholders Meeting. The delegates expressed optimism in learning from Uganda's experience and use it to achieve national planning agenda in the home country. Take a look.
So they are all machines. Uganda has received a delegation from Namibia ahead of Africa Peer Review Mechanism Stakeholders Meeting. The team was led by Ambassador Josephat Mboti, focal person and chief executive officer, Africa Peer Review Mechanism Namibia.
We are a new member. We just did our reviews, and we just completed what they call a national program of action. And now we were trying to find a link between the national development plans and the national program of action. And fortunately, we have, through this peer lending, we have seen a very close link between the APRM and the national planning authorities, so to say.
But you have decided
to be a bigger brother to us, being in the business of APRM much longer than us, and felt that we have this opportunity to benchmark from the bigger brother.
The organ assesses and reviews governance at head of state peer level in order to promote political stability, accelerate sub-region and continental economic integration, and now focusing towards achieving the African Agenda 2063 of a united Africa.
APRM is now an organ of the African Union, monitoring the African Union Agenda 2063, which is the vision for Africa. So each of us in the APRM, the countries are mandated to support the ensuring of implementation and also monitoring that the Agenda 2063 comes to fruition.
The Vice Chairperson, National Governing Council Africa Peer Review Mechanism in Uganda, Olive Chigenyi, says, and such visits help in shaping informative decisions towards achieving a national and regional agenda.
These reviews are done by eminent people from Africa. We first do the self-assessment, we as Uganda, and then these people from all over Africa, they come here and they do the reviews for us, then they give us recommendations. These recommendations, we implement them. We as Uganda are supposed to implement them. And we as the National Governing Council, we put these recommendations in the National Program of Action.
Established in 2003, the Africa Peer Review Mechanism is part of the African Union and is charged with the responsibility to self-monitor government performance on the African continent. Sada Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
Uganda Network on Law, Ethics and HIV and AIDS, UGANET, in collaboration with CSO HIV Law Coalition, have called upon actors to embrace science and technology when formulating and implementing HIV and TB-related policies and laws during this Women's Month. Now this against the backdrop that women and girls' rights are still under attack, holding back the global target of ending HIV and AIDS by 2030. During this month of March, regarded as Women's Month, UGANET and CSO HIV Law Coalition have asked actors to expand economic security for women and girls by embracing innovation that will facilitate prevention of violence against women and girls. Actors have also been asked to implement critical legislation that will advance access to service, justice and healing for gender-based violence survivors.
We as women, we are the engine of whatever is going to happen in terms of development, and if we are healthy, if we are well in terms of economy, we are the best to make a change of this country.
In order to embrace stigma, to do away with stigma and discrimination for people living with HIV, and it is now a time that we have to embrace it further because it is scaling up the digitalization of access psychosocial support, which is very key in the prevention of HIV and AIDS.
Embrace science and technology while formulating and implementing HIV and TB-related laws and policies. 2. Expand economic security for women and girls by embracing innovation that will facilitate prevention of violence against women and girls. 3. Defend access to health care, including reproductive health, mental health, and maternal health care. 4. Safeguard women's human rights and promote the full participation of women and girls in all healthcare related services.
Moving on from that, the Executive Director, Kampala Capital City Authority, Dorothy Chisaka, has commended women for the pivotal role played in leadership development in the country for 10 years. Dr. Chisaka made the remarks at celebrations to mark 10 years of women leadership development in Kampala. Take a look.
Women Leadership Development We Lead has celebrated strides of women and youth leaders in Kampala, celebrating 10 years of service. Women Leadership Development was commended for ensuring that women participate in effective ways of achieving gender equality.
You become a leader. You may have the characteristics
of a good leader, but leadership can be learned. It can be honed. It can excel. Even a person who has the good characteristics of a leader, if they are not sharpened in the school of leadership, they may fail to excel in a leader.
The executive director we lead, Edith Sali, said progress has been made in strengthening women and youth leaders' capacity, mainly in economic and political sector. Over 18,000 people have benefited from women leadership development.
The funding space is shrinking day by day. The programs are changing for the donors, so that was one of them. But we have also had the challenge of, what I call it, the political space being dynamic. As you're planning to do this, then the world changes and they are bringing many at the time of the elections. We always have a roadmap because we can't do it 6 months, we do it 3 years. But then you find so many things happen in between as you plan to train the women. And by the way, for us, the women, we go for those who go for Direct 6 because we mostly promote gender equality.
Women Leadership Development is now working with the Platform for Vendors Association of Uganda to address the challenges faced by the underprivileged woman. Jennifer Kagugube, the chairperson of the governance board we lead, says their main target is women and youth and has got the willingness of growing their leadership.
Targeting women leaders and youth leaders. And youth covers both young men and young women because we know leadership is important for sustaining the development and growth. And we have the skills, we have the experience and the willingness, the interest to grow.
Florence Asiro, a primary 7 dropout, but now a woman councillor Naguroto Parish, said We Lead has greatly improved them in leadership skills.
The moment when we joined We Lead organization, they have done a lot to us through leadership training. At that time, me personally, I start to step in slowly of what there was been training us about leadership. Then I take a lead to stand on my feet, at least to stand for my fellow women and for myself also, because the challenges we are going is too much.
We Lead is now planning to have strategic funding dialogues with development partners and well-wishers to deliver high-impact results. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Moving on from that, Ministry of Water and Environment has started restoring the degraded green belt of swamp that had dried up in the northern Uganda. The initiative undertaken by the National Water and Sewage Corporation targets restoration of the major catchment area along Oitini Dam and adequate supply of clean water to Gulu City.
War in northern Uganda caused an influx of internally displaced persons who put pressure on service delivery in Gulu municipality. Wetland that were a source of livelihood dries up, leading to water scarcity. The wetland in the current Gulu city are degraded, which has affected Oitino water catchment area.
And because of so many activities, we have been having problems of water sinking into the sea or into the soil and not reaching the dam. And that is what always causes us problems during dry season, where you find that the water pumped by National Water and Sewage Corporation become inadequate and cannot supply people adequately in Gulu City.
A resident, Ben Alfred Onen, says in the early 2000s, before the insurgency, economic activities in the area were quarry and sand mining.
Our parents and grandparents were peasant farmers and dig a lot of crops. It came to the time around the 1980s whereby we experienced a lot of war and many people came around here and people started working on the land, but they also engaged themselves in quarry works and mining along the rivers and even cutting down trees, because here along the rivers there were big trees.
For sustainable utilization of national resource, the International Union for Conservation of Nature have been supporting the local community with smart climate farming.
Yes, by this year, now that we got some money, like I got 300,000 to work in my land, growing vegetable. We are in the group of growing onions and bilinyanya. Yeah. So I'll dig that same land to transplant it from there and plant it here.
Currently, the International Union for Conservation of Nature projects has restored about 40 hectares of Oitieno catchment area.
But through the Community Environment Conservation Fund, which is a revolving fund, we've been able to convince and dialogue with the community to pull away. So they have demarcated 30 meters above from the highest watermark point upstream on both sides of this Oitieno wetland, and it stretches from the point where we are standing, stretches 15 kilometers upstream.
This will enhance adequate water supply for at least 219,800 people living in Gulu City.
Telling them to leave this place, at least they are going with something. And whatever they have gone with, I pray that the community uses it to develop themselves. Let's multiply what we have gotten. Don't misuse what you have got so that you come back. There is going to be no coming back. This time you have gone in peace. Next time you come, it will not be business as usual, because this is life. Water is life.
As Uganda celebrates the National Water and Environmental Week, leaders in Gulu City want NEMA to stop issuing land titles on gazetted natural resource. Stephen Okello, reporting for UBC TV in Gulu City.
Stakeholders in Madi-Okolo district are intensifying moves to avert school dropouts among teenagers, with the main focus on the girl child. According to Madi-Okolo District Woman Member of Parliament Joan Aniko Kia, the move must ensure that all girls, especially those that got married off after conceiving, return to school. This was during the Women's Convention in Pawod, Sub-County, Madi-Okolo district.
Parents have been challenged to teach girls how to resist temptations and favors that lead them to early marriages and teenage pregnancy. Madi-Okolo District Woman Member of Parliament Joan Aniko says a number of girls dropped out of school, especially during the COVID-19 lockdown. This was during the District Women Empowerment Forum, organized in partnership with Madi-Okolo District and development partners.
Parents, we need to teach our young girls to say no from the time they're born. In primary school, you need to have the power to say no. In secondary school, you need to have the power to say no. When you say acuero, you will be powerful.
While mentoring girls, Ms. Aniku tasked them to start having vision and set targets that will keep them focused on education.
The only way you can have the power of no is if you have a goal in front of you. Maybe your goal is to be a powerful businesswoman. Maybe your goal is to be a teacher. If you keep your eyes on your purpose, on your goal, then no will help you.
In a joint effort to keep the girl child in school, women from Madi-Okolo District have come up with an initiative intended to sensitize parents and children about education.
We have grandmothers that are children now, and we still have people in our community that look at girls as wealth. You see, when you see your girl child like this getting pregnant, you feel happy because tomorrow you're going to get cows. That is what we're going to say no to. We'll want to talk to, first of all, their parents. All the stakeholders should come in, and really serious punishment be given to these culprits.
Madi-Okolo District Chairperson Ismail Drabe says dropout resulting from teenage pregnancy and early marriages remains a big problem to the district.
Teenage pregnancy, Madi-Okolo is high. Defilement, Madi-Okolo is high. Girl, child dropouts, Madi-Okolo is high. When we have all issues to do with the girl child, running in the negative direction. When shall we reverse it? As a district, we are committed in doing everything possible to see that the girl child goes to school. I want to call upon us to begin with the parents. I want to call upon the society members to have watchful eyes.
However, the district still registers high enrollment and low completion rates.
We shall be together holding hands with government in saying retention in primary education is the only approach we can use majorly to ensure teenage marriage is reduced in our community.
The consortium of partners include Rice West Nile, Plan International, and Space, among others. They are implementing prevention and a response for teenage pregnancy to ensure retention of the girl child in school. Joseph Odama, UBC News in Mandiokolo.
Now, the need for career guidance to Uganda's youth has been emphasized during a continuing students and old boys and girls meeting at Crested Secondary School in Machindi. We have a detailed report on what exactly transpired by John Barnes Center.
Students of Crested Secondary School in Makinde have been treated to a musical performance by the B2C group. The B2C group of Julius Kasaga, Peterson Sali and Richard Mugisha are all students of Crested Senior Secondary School and were there to offer career guidance to continuing students.
You might want to be as B2C or you might want to be as anybody else, a doctor, an engineer, successful person. You need to be consistent, you need to be confident, and you need to have the courage. From consistency comes confidence and goes to courage. Yeah? And then don't drink when it's supposed to. Yeah? Don't be an alcoholic because we've seen and we know. Yeah.
Drinking, smoking, distraction to the students.
Distracts you.
Make sure you stay away from that.
Yeah.
Once you do that, get the focus, the courage is to about it, the confidence,
self-love.
do what you want to do.
These three were at Crested since senior one. They actually spent their secondary life at Crested Secondary School. They started from senior one up to senior 6, and they were very, very intelligent students because most of them got 17 points and above. The three of them actually, they all got 17 points and above at the end of their A level. They were very disciplined children. You'd never find them in wrong, but still they were B2C when they were still in senior 2. Very disciplined, very intelligent, hardworking. They were even prefects in the school. So since that time up to now, I think you can see they are different from any other artists. They are very decent artists.
This Career Guidance Day is an annual event at Crested Secondary School that has this year been graced by the school's director.
Helping them to appreciate what lies ahead of them using past experience by those who went through school and who have managed to make it so that they can use those examples to build their own story, to make their own career.
Crested Senior Secondary School was started in 1995 with less than 100 students, but has grown to several and proudly offers holistic education to Uganda's boy and girl child.
So I keep encouraging these young children to be very innovative.
Well, it's been very fun at Crested Secondary School. Moving on from that, the Directorate of Industrial Training at the Ministry of Education and Sports, Dr. Patrick Biakatonda, has tasked parents to entrust their children in vocational training to uplift their communities. Biakatonda was officiating the 10th graduation ceremony of Baroma Institute in Mukono District.
development is committed to promoting skills development among youth at all levels. The Director of Industrial Training, Dr. Patrick Byakatonda, reiterates the need for youth to utilize vocational skills. Byakatonda was at the graduation ceremony for technicians who completed motor vehicle mechanics, electrical installation and hairdressing courses.
I have encouraged the graduates, the ones who have finished, to have employable skills. These employable skills, they include hard skills, which are acquired through training, but also the soft skills. The soft skills, they include integrity, they include communication, that even if you have all the skills, but if you lack integrity and honesty, it will not be easy to sustain the customers. I've also talked about the competency-based curriculum, which is in both lower secondary and everywhere. The curriculum is competency-based as long as you have DIT.
The director, Baroma Vocational Institute, Esther Baroma, nurtures the hailed educational stakeholders, parents and staff for their commitment to vocational training.
Government eyongere nnyo amaanyi mu skilling program esobola okulaba nga abaana bonna bafuna omukisa. Bwe kiba nti kutandikira wansi eno omwana ajje nga akyagala naye balinayo kati bo bakirabanga omuntu amala kulemererwa okujja okukola tailoring, amala kulemererwa okujja okukola catering. So government eveeyo nnyo eyongerere ddala amaanyi nga bwekikozeeko ate naffe eno mu masomero agali eno ewaffe tusaba obuyambi obw'enjawulo okutwongeramu amaanyi twongerere ddala okusomesa kuba ekizibu kye tusinga okuba nakyo wano mu masomo gano tebiringa eri mu academics yo okwata kitabo na textbooks emirundi egisinga naye wano okuyigiriza omwana okumugjamu kyetaaga ssente nnyingi.
The future will judge you right, you parents who have chosen this path. As many of our colleagues embrace formal education with exorbitant fees, among the endless scholastics, you and your children, these children of yours, you have chosen a path that is a sure win.
In another development, the Director of Industrial Training has started creating awareness about the new lower secondary school curriculum countrywide. The Principal Qualifications Officer, Johnson Turiam Simera, told teachers of Chitante Hill School in Kampala that schools should register online for assessment that starts November this year.
We are very excited to be at Chitante Hill School to sensitize the students who are in their final preparations to sit for their level 1 assessment that is yet to be conducted by the Director of Industrial Training in line with the revised lower secondary curriculum. Thereafter, we also intend to have a session with the teachers because they are the key implementers of this program. And the students, both the students and teachers are very excited because they have realized that skilling is the way to go.
I'm Nafka Farida and Henry Muganga.
Talk with freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial *100 *21# or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
This is our family's pride.
This is my friend.
This is the future of our nation.
She is the future of Uganda, and the policies I enact today will protect her from teenage pregnancy.
She is the hope of our community, and I will talk to others about how we must protect her.
She is our family's pride, and I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Their support
Not so much to me. I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
The Uganda Water and Environment Week is back. Join us as we deliver value internally and externally by promoting a multinational integrated approach that links all sectors of water and environment, and also explore and deliberate on the water and environment resources to climate resilience. The week commemorates 3 sector days of World Water Day, World Forestry Day, and World Meteorological Day. The Uganda Water and Environment Week will take place from 12th to 17th March 2023 at the Ministry of Water and Environment headquarters in Luzira, under the theme Water and Environment for Climate Resilient Development.
Uganda Water and Environment Week is organized by Ministry of Water and Environment through the Water Resources Institute with support from development partners.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *100 *10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100 *10 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100 *10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. Moving on in UBC News Tonight, government through Uganda National Bureau of Standards has reiterated its commitment to crack down on maize millers and unscrupulous maize dealers who have continuously supplied contaminated maize flour to regional markets that led to a ban of Uganda's maize flour exports to the Kenyan market, despite bilateral talks that resolved the trade uproar that nearly caused a diplomatic glitch between the two states. According to UNBS, top on the list of regions to be affected in the planned crackdown is Busoga sub-region, where the cartels of exporting contaminated maize flour to regional markets is entrenched.
In a one-day sensitization training held at Ikulwe village in Mayuge district, UNBS cautioned those dealing in maize milling business to desist from selling contaminated maize flour, which may cause complications to the consumers.
Based in the process of drying it safely, health-wise, to see that at least the government takes on its the load of government is taken away, so that they blame these people of these machine owners don't even blame the government.
The spokesperson UNBS, Sylvia Chirabo, has highlighted the need for implementing the standards on produced goods in the country.
For them, we go a little bit in detail to train them and build their capacity and give them confidence that standards too can be applied by people who operate on a small scale.
Chirabo, however, called upon all maize milling companies operating illegally to reach out to NBS for accreditation before the enforcement team shuts them down.
The minimal requirements is what is required for someone who is operating on a small scale to comply with. So we want to encourage them.
The sensitization of maize millers by UNBS experts on the quality assurance followed reports on high-handed law enforcement team of UNBS that often operates without notification.
Abaguzi abaduma titusobola abakoba yewe omukoba nti ono duma omubi tamukuguza obundi ida yamugula yaje yamufuna kwa magoba iwe oyogera ebyo ebigambo eby'omutindo bakuleka bakuyimeme
kati fenga surveillance tuliwo eringa link protecting la dala omuntu achirya nawe achikola ki nachikola.
Despite this sensitization workshop, the maize millers urged the government to annually offer such civic awareness for their good.
The public is cautioned against using eye care products such as sunglasses and spectacles that are non-prescribed by eye care professionals. According to experts, unprescribed glasses are harmful to the eyes when used over a long period of time. Now, the plea was made on Friday at the launch of Optical Limited, the largest optical retail company in the East African region.
optical problems are on the rise globally. The rapid increase in optical challenges is attributed to occupations and the changing work and communication trends. According to optometrists, people are increasingly getting exposed to harmful light.
So previously we are using UV 100, but now we reached up to UV 400, which is coming with the blue light filters. So most of the gadgets, when you are using for long hours, you are inviting the dryness on the eye because we don't blink oftenly. When you don't blink, you don't have the tears on the cornea. That's how we are damaging the eye.
Being healthy doesn't mean that you're healthy sometimes. You may not know. So it doesn't mean that because you see that, are you seeing well? Have an eye test. Get your children tested. Very, very important. Once a year. That's all.
The situation is exacerbated by the cheap and fake sunglasses that are easily accessible in the market.
Shouldn't invest in those road traffic light sunglasses at all because they don't have any protection from UVA and UVB of the sun. So this machine actually tests whether the sunglasses that you're buying does have the UV protection or not. So I'll just demonstrate one. It's taking a sunglass, and when you put it in, it shows you that you're covered up to UV 400 nanometers. So that obviously helps you protecting your eyes from the harmful UVA, UVB, UVC coming in through the eyes. Because you're damaging your eyes more by wearing those which don't have the UVA, UVB protection. You're allowing the harmful rays to enter your eye and damage your eyes over a period of long-term wearing of those products.
These concerns were raised at the launch of Optical Limited, the largest optical retail company in the East African Community region. With 2 outlets launched at Acacia and Arena malls in Kampala, the entrepreneurs are optimistic of bridging the gap in the market for quality eye care products at affordable prices.
But more importantly, we're going to go to the people who can't afford. Like I said here again, we have frames starting from 29,000 Uganda shillings. So you can imagine how many people that could not afford vision can now afford it. Like we've done in Kenya, we will also, going forward, start doing what we call outreach programs, where we will even go to the smaller towns in Uganda. We'll go to churches, for an example, or maybe go to mosques, for an example, whenever we can, and we'll do free eye testing. Absolutely free.
The general public's advised to always check with opticians in case of any eye discomfort in order to avert any possible eye disease. Dennis Igoa and Kansime Santina for UBC Business.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *100 *10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100 *10 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100 *10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're descending into Entebbe Airport. For those proceeding to Kampala City, the biggest event in East Africa is in town.
That's right. The East African Business Expo 2023 is happening from the 23rd to the 26th of March at Kololo Grounds. Join us to network, connect, and grow. Contact us for exhibition or sponsorship opportunities. The 14th East African Procurement Forum and Business Expo 2023 is hosted by PPBA.
Now sit back and relax. It's time to explore great business opportunities.
Jerry con. Jerry con. Hey, Master Blaster. Touch him, man. Buy Jerry con with muscle. Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava. Best movies I teach you. When I go to the musicali, because of the cover is very far. Is you serious? Is serious you? What? Yeah? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs and you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru and Umaru refuse to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru, Jerry car.
Okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
You're still watching UBC News Tonight. Lastly, in our sports news before we close, Ugandan cyclists returned home with pride after having won the senior individual time trial gold medal and the junior time trial silver at the Africa Road Race and Cycling Championship in Ghana. But deep inside, and this after hearing stories from countries like Rwanda and Eritrea, they can't help but implore government for better. Take a look.
It's a rare occurrence for a team of five to come out of a continental championship with a gold and silver medal, but still not happy. But this was the case for Uganda at the Africa Cycling Road Race Championship in Ghana that attracted 22 countries. Uganda's five there were Charles Kajimu, Lawrence Lorot, Florence Nakagwa, Shafik Kajimu, and Davis Binzika. Charles Kajimu and Lawrence Lorot returned with the senior individual time trial gold and the junior time trial silver respectively, with the three others empty-handed. Their return in many countries would call for celebrations, especially amongst the team for the nation's first ever medals at that stage. But the Ugandan boys and girls directed their wrath towards government that contributed close to nothing to their travel.
I think like the major challenge we are facing is funding, and I can't say I know like every sport is facing this challenge, but I would say that maybe like we are really underfunded as cycling, and maybe the government should really consider funding us.
Sente twakola okuzisonda twalisondera ennaku zaali kumpi twamanya late twali twesigulidde ku government otuwa ticket naye tewali ticket yavaayo
lawyer ticket you're lacking fund, so that's the only thing I want to call upon the government of Uganda or the Ministry of Education and Sports to put on much efforts on cycling.
In Uganda now, cycling is not taken as a sport. It's not even known by people. We are representing them, but they don't know. Even they don't know that there are some kids there representing them.
The Uganda Cycling Association President Amuwonge Mahaba acknowledges the funding gap and promises to lobby for basics like travel, accommodation and meals.
These younger boys, they not just come here to win medals, but they have been preparing, training seriously. Not even in Uganda. Others they have serious training in Kenya, others in Europe, Netherlands, and America. So, my appeal to the government or to our ministry or to the National Council to come and assist, at least add more funds.
The Africa Road Race Cycling Championship was defended by Eritrean Henrik Moleberan, whose Federation Vice President accredits this to government support.
This is popular in Eritrea. The people pay in the race. In the race, always they enter to see the race. You pay. You know, they pay, and even the government will be a lot of budget to cycling.
Though in Uganda, lack of funds is blamed to bodies like National Council of Sports, truth of the matter is it's government and especially Parliament that appropriates a meager 17 billion for 51 federations that locals need to put to task. Reporting for UBC TV, this is John Sentamu in Ghana.
That's all we had for you this evening. Thank you so much for watching UBC News Night once again at 10 p.m. on the 10th of March 2023. My name is Sharon Chomjisha. Have a lovely night and a blessed, fun weekend. Bye-bye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
It's Freaky Friday. Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 100 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 100 star 10 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 100 star 10